Well, I think maybe we need to remind ourselves that there was a large number of NRM-leaning independents that made it to Parliament. So I think a lot of dynamics at this point play into that they originally already belonged to NRM, and now they are just simply maybe realigning with the ideology of what the party is. But it's very frustrating because at times the voters entrust these people to play a certain role, in Parliament, definitely based off what the roles of Parliament are, that oversight of governance, the legislative arm, but also to play into certain roles for which they've elected you into these particular roles. There are so many limitations when it comes to being an independent, and I think maybe if we're trying to look at the positive side of why they might be signing some of these pacts with the ruling government, maybe it might make sense. They're trying to look for that influence, to trying to align with the ideology of the ruling party, but also because it's what is dominant in the House. So they're trying to maintain that level of influence with the dominance.
And the question is, are they doing the right thing? They were elected as independents.
We're going to come to that.
There were NRM people in the race, there were opposition people in the race, and they were independents. And the voter decided and said, we want an independent person. Means you're non-opposition, you're non-ruling party.
We're going to come to that. So in terms of what the limitations are for an independent, it might make sense that some of them, once they're elected into that seat, they can no longer lean as independents. So they look for an ideology where they can influence certain decisions, or where they can be part of maybe committee appointments and etc. In terms of legality, it's permissible. It's not illegal. It has happened over time. It has happened over time, so we can't say it's a legal issue. But maybe now what we should discuss is what happens when it comes to the independence of Parliament. That role they're supposed to play, the oversight, the confrontation in Parliament, what happens to opposition that should be having a sort of stand when it comes to maybe a certain legislative agenda, what happens there. So I feel it weakens that dissenting voice on the floor of Parliament, because sometimes it's necessary. It's necessary for the oversight. It's necessary for Parliament or the opposition or those who enter as independents to play that oversight role that voters have put them in Parliament for. And then secondly, it blurs. It blurs the lines between, that extension of power for the executive, and Parliament, because at the end of the day, we don't understand whether these people belong to the ruling party, or if they belong to opposition, or if they would be able to, properly, put themselves onto certain agendas when it's time to call them for that, or to stand with the voters, what the voters' needs are when it comes to the floor of Parliament. So it blurs the lines, because now they try to align themselves with the ideology of the ruling party, which of course is likely to take dominance in the House when it comes to passing certain things. But of course, it also imbalances that bargaining power, especially now. I think at the beginning we had said that, majority of whom are NRM leaning, so it definitely will, that bargaining power largely go to NRM, whose count now grows even bigger outside, those elected seats. So the balance is not there. It's not there. So majority of them do it for survival, and at the end of the day, it's not fair to the voters, because they put you in there to meet their needs. But at the end of the day, it becomes about survival, because they want to influence, they want certain committee appointments, they want to influence on the floor of Parliament, so they end up aligning with the ideology that is the most dominant. I think majority of it also is about that patronage politics, if you enter the parliament and you're not able to play a role, I know that majority of most of our politics is constituency driven. Most of the constituency wants to see what you're able to perform in terms of delivery of services. Some will ask you, why roads are bad. Others will assume that, you should be able to influence like local politics. Others will be looking to see how, you pull in government projects into your constituency. So what happens then if you're playing an independent role where you barely have influence to be able to pull them in? So at times people lean towards that because of that, but at the end of the day, it really blurs the lines for parliamentary independence, because majority of them are leaning more towards the ruling party, which is the executive.
All right, Spectrum X on Radio 1